Welcome back, everyone. Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope you're ready. So, for a moment, just before we start, we are going to talk about autolyse because we talked about this the other night, and that's what we're going to do with this bread. We're going to autolyse it. Autolyse means before we add all the rest of our dough ingredients to our pouliche, which I just showed you, our pre-ferment, we are going to do kind of a pre-mix almost with just the remaining water, the remaining flour, and since we're using a pouliche that required so much of the water from the overall dough recipe, we are going to put the pouliche in. Normally you don't put a pre-ferment in. Why don't you normally put a pre-ferment in your autolyse? Because it creates acidity from all the yeast that's in there, and normally that would toughen the dough and the gluten bonds that you're trying to create, and that is not what we want. However, our pouliche has so little yeast in it that it's not going to make a difference. But if we were to omit that from our autolyse, there would be so little remaining water for the amount of flour that we're putting in there for the final dough that it would leave little chunks of raw flour in there. And we don't want that in our final dough, right? 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 Right. Okay, so let's look at our final ingredients. And I'll show you what we're putting in and what we're not putting in just yet. Hi, guys. So there's our pouliche. Our entire pouliche is going to go in. And if you see, we have about quadrupled in size. And like I told you last night, your pouliche is going to be more like a batter than it is a dough. Because it has what? 100% hydration. This is important. 100% hydration means that when we made this, we put equal parts by weight of flour and water in here, also with just a little bit of yeast. So this is going to be very loose. This isn't a stiff biga, and it's not an old dough, a pat ferment from a previous batch. So we're going to do that. And we have 1 pound, 5.4 ounces of bread flour, or 4 7/8 cups. And then we have 10 point, oh, thank you. My hair won't take a curl to save my life. It never has. I've gotten perms and used every roller and every bit of chemical in the salon, and it's never worked. My hair is resistant. So we're going to use 10.6 ounces of water at around 105 degrees, or 1 3/4 cups. So I am going to prop you guys over top of my mixer, and then we will keep going. Just the right angle. You have to give me a second to find the absolute right angle that I had you guys set up on. I think that's it. Actually, I think I had you guys the other way. Duh. Yes, I think this was better. Yeah, and I can see what I'm doing this way too. All right, so first we add the H2O. That's my scientist accent, because we're kind of being mad scientists and having fun. Then we add the flour, bread flour. I don't know why I have to do the accent, but I just feel like I have to do the accent. And lastly, our beautiful pouliche. It helps at this point if, oh, I packed mine away. Poop. Let me see if I can grab one real quick. It helps at this point if you have a bowl scrape for dough. Can I reach it? Can I reach it? Can I reach it? That's not it. I have all sorts of tools hanging out back in my one cabinet. Is that it? That's not. All right. Oh well. Just gonna use my spatula. I prefer my bowl scrape, but we are going to add our pouliche. I have my mixer away from me right now, so it's a little awkward. I'm trying to get you guys real good light and a real good angle to see this without me creating shadow and obstructing it, so I'm not usually this awkward using a spatula. Or with the general scraping process. Now that just provided us a whole bunch of moisture. But do you guys remember why we're autolysing? Just so you know, I can't see what your comments are at the moment. Do you know why we are autolysing? Well, what it'll do for us it'll increase the extensibility, which is the stretchability of the dough. It's going to create some initial tender gluten bonds. Even though we're only going to mix it for a very short period of time, it's still going to help develop those. We are going to reduce the overall mixing time, which is going to prevent some oxidation and the loss of carotenoids. But why does this stuff matter? Because in the final dough, it's going to give us, while it's in the oven, give us a lot more volume. It's going to spring more. We're going to have a really, really beautiful flavor. And because it's springing more, we're going to have that more open crumb that we really want out of a baguette. And those cuts on the top are going to be more pronounced and beautiful and exactly as they should be. So let's put, I've got a dough hook, by the way. Make sure you use a dough hook. No paddles, definitely no whisks. We're going to lock it. And in your stand mixer, we are simply going to turn it on to the very first click, to the stir, and let it go only until this has incorporated. Don't double your batch in a standard mixer. You're gonna have flour absolutely everywhere. But we are looking to bring all of these together so that you don't have any more dough on the side of the bowl, or flour, excuse me, and so that it's all mixed together. Now, you're going to watch this for about 20 to 60 minutes. See how it's starting to pick stuff up from the side of the mixer? From around the side of the bowl? My mixer's starting to struggle. Alright. We have a pretty good homogeneous mix. Let's just have another look at it. Oh, I've got some really wet stuff up here. So I'm going to scrape that down real quick and gently mix again. Maybe flop it over a little. But we want all of that stuff to be pretty much incorporated nicely. We're not going crazy mixing. We're not looking to develop gluten during this mix. We're just looking to hydrate our flour and get, oof, that pin's coming out. Get a nice consistent mix. Okay, that's looking pretty. Let's have a look. That makes me much happier. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to put a piece of plastic just around the bowl in here. Let me grab my plastic. I got one of those big old rolls, those industrial sized rolls, and I love this thing. We are just going to carefully wrap this around in here. We want to prevent air from getting in here and forming any kind of crustiness. You're just putting it on gently. You are not even pressing it directly to the surface. You're just trying to keep airflow out of there as best you can. So, now. Now, we're gonna let that rest for about 20 to 60 minutes. We have to watch it to see when it, starts to kind of come together and becomes a little bit softer on the surface, where you don't see as much of that almost rough looking patches. So we're going to watch that for 20 to 60 minutes. I can't tell you when I'm going to be back because I actually got my kitchen to about 76 degrees right now. So I'm hoping that that will optimize exactly what we have going on in the bowl here. What type of bread am I making? I am making baguette, starting with a pouliche pre-ferment. Now, why don't we add the yeast in the autolyse? Because as we talked about before with adding the pouliche, the yeast will create acidity. The pouliche itself doesn't have enough yeast in there to create acidity in the final dough. What does acidity do to your dough during the autolyse? It strengthens it. We're not looking to strengthen it right now. We don't want to do that. Also, we don't add salt during the autolyse because salt does the same thing. It toughens and strengthens your dough, and that's not what we want to do right now. Why don't we want to do it? Because we haven't done the final mix for it yet. And once we do the final mix, if it's too tough and too strong, pardon me, if it's too tough and too strong, we're actually going to damage all that beautiful gluten structure that we've created. We're going to tear it apart, and once you do that, you kind of hurt the dough kind of permanently. Is it going to make awful baguette? Yes. Okay, no. But it's not going to be the beautiful baguette that you wanted from this. So just listen to me. Just add your pouliche, that little bit of yeast. Not going to hurt it. Don't add your final yeast. Do not add your salt. So we're going to let this sit for about 20 to 60 minutes. I can't really tell you how long that's going to be for me, but check back. Again, if you're following this, you know, and not doing it until you see the full process, that's probably perfect. Just because your temperature and your humidity, your climate in your kitchen is going to differ than mine. And actually, it's starting to feel a little warmer over by this window than it did before from the sun coming in. I have a south-facing window right here. So I may have to turn my air on to try and bring the temperature in my kitchen down a little. Optimally, the temperature in your kitchen would be about 70 to 76 degrees because we want our final dough temperature to be 76 degrees. So if we have it in an overly warm kitchen, it's going to ripen too quickly. And we have to take into account that when we do our final mix, this mixer is going to have some friction and it's going to add to the temperature of the dough in the bowl. So we do our best to control as much as we can, just being mindful. Don't go crazy if this is your first time making bread, you know, thinking about those things. They're just interesting things to keep in your head so that if something doesn't seem right, your process is about an hour behind mine. That's probably perfect, Jen. So if something doesn't seem quite right as you go along in the process, it's not going to be fatal. Don't give up. Don't take your dough and shuck it across the kitchen. Those are the things I do and regret them. Learn from it. Learn from it. And, you know, we can troubleshoot. We can talk about it. So it's always a good learning experience. When we are all done with our dough at the end of the day, I am going to ask everybody after you've baked off, even if it's not till tomorrow, on the thread that we have in the Facebook group, the Foodie Bedtime Stories Periscope group, which everyone is welcome to. Find the group on Facebook. I will approve you. In that thread where our recipe is, I'm going to ask everyone to post pictures of their bread. We're all going to show off what we did. It's a good learning experience. It's absolutely great. So let's wait. Let's see when I can come back to this dough and watch for my Periscope. Okay, see you very, very shortly.